Beloved Saints, today's 5-minute message of redemptive history is about Almon diblathaim during the 40 years in the wilderness from the second book of redemptive history series, The Covenant of the Torch. When we look in Numbers 33 verse 46, during the 40 years in the wilderness, the 39th campsite that the Israelites stayed in was Almon diblathaim. This means hidden lump of pressed figs. First, Israelites recovered from their exhaustion and gained strength at Almon diblathaim. Before the Israelites arrived at Almon diblathaim, they had to take a long roundabout journey through the wilderness and the mountainous regions to avoid conflict with the surrounding nations. There was also a war against the Amorites. When we look in Numbers 21, it says that Israelites had to definitely pass through the territory of the Amorites in order to enter into the land of Canaan. So, Israelites promised the king of the Amorites that they're just going to pass through the territory and not cause any harm. But the king of the Amorites did not grant permission, and instead, the king mustered his entire army and marched out into the wilderness against Israel. Thankfully, the Israelites won the war by the grace of God. However, even though they won the war, the Israelites were physically and mentally exhausted, and this is when they arrived at Almon diblathaim. Just like the meaning of Almon diblathaim, the Israelites ate lumps of pressed figs there. In the Old Testament, there is an old Israelite custom of serving fig clusters to people exhausted from long marches or journeys. The figs were pressed into cakes and were called cakes of pressed figs or fig cakes. In 1 Samuel 25:18, among the foods that Abigail brought to King David to comfort and strengthen him were cakes of figs. In 1 Samuel 30 verse 12, a sick Egyptian soldier found abandoned was given a piece of fig cake, and his spirit revived. Beloved saints, as we live our life in this world that is like the wilderness, we face and experience numerous spiritual battles. And at times, we become so exhausted mentally and physically. However, at those times, God feeds us spiritual fig cakes and removes all of our exhaustion so that we gain new strength from Him, so that once again we can boldly march towards the kingdom of heaven. Second, Israelites long for the land of Canaan, which had abundance of figs. When we look in Numbers 13 verse 23 and 1 Kings chapter 4 verse 25, it says that the land of Canaan, which the Israelites were about to enter, was a land overflowing with milk and honey and had an abundance of figs. The land of Canaan was a land of rest that makes all of our exhaustion disappear. And that is why the Israelite people desired and longed to quickly enter this land of Canaan, which was a land of rest. Beloved saints, the spiritual Canaan, or heaven that we need to enter, is a world of rest. In Revelation 21 verse 4, it says that heaven is a place where God shall wipe away every tear from our eyes, and there will be no longer any death, and there shall no longer be any mourning or crying or pain. And so in order to enter into that world of rest, we need to desire and long for heaven. In 2 Peter chapter 3 verses 12 to 13, it says, "As you wait eagerly for the day of God to come." But in keeping with this promise, we are looking forward to a new heaven and a new earth where righteousness dwells. Beloved saints, so today, let us long and desire heaven, which is the world of everlasting rest. Let us heal our exhausted body and heart with the Word of God. And once again, let us march boldly and have a day of blessing. I bless in the name of the Lord.